Well, I have a new addition to the TV collection here. Just picked it up yesterday. It is a 2003 Toshiba TV and VCR combination. I know most of these TV VCR combinations aren't very good. Usually the VCR is a really crappy mechanism, and usually it's only two heads, and the TV will usually shut itself down if the VCR goes bad. But I picked this one up just to see if it would work. The main reason I picked it up is because it is an identical twin to my 2004 Toshiba DVD player and TV combination. You can see they're practically exactly the same, other than this one having the DVD player and this one having the VCR instead. It's the exact same picture tube inside. Both are made by Orion. The casing is practically the same, with minor differences on the back, which I'll get to. Like, you can see they have handles here, and the screws for the back of the TV there, and then the little place to put your rabbit ears. And, well, you can't really see, but there's the vents on the sides. And then on the back, you've got the sticker, and then down there you have your RF input. On the back of this one you have the sticker and the RF input. This one's from October 2003. This one's from September 2004. I've already featured in a previous video. I found it being thrown out about, like, maybe 2 months ago or something. Might have only been a month ago. I know it was, like, a while ago, but I picked it up. Didn't come with anything, just the TV, and it's in, like, perfect condition. Works perfectly, other than the fact that it needs a remote. This one I picked up yesterday, like I said, and it's actually kind of funny. This one I found at a house a few houses up from mine. It was being thrown out. With the remote, actually. I got the remote with it. And I said, hey, that looks a lot like my DVD TV combo. And sure enough, they're identical. And it's even more funny that I found this on a different street in the same neighborhood a few months back. And I found this one. They were both found in the same neighborhood, my neighborhood, and they're practically the same. So it's like this is the older brother to this one. So other than one having a VCR and one having a DVD player, they were practically the same. Same picture tube. It's an Orion picture tube. Same size, same casing, same button layout. There's only a few minor differences. For instance, this one has stereo speakers and stereo input jacks. Meanwhile, this only has one speaker. It's in here. This speaker grill is just decoration. And then it only has mono inputs. Also, this has an additional LED on the front. This one has one LED, and it serves a different purpose on this one. Also, a few of the buttons on these serve different purposes from each other. And then on the back, on this TV, the RF input is in the center of the back. The RF input on here is off to the side, along with the digital audio output, which is another thing that this one has and this one doesn't. Also, when you switch the channels on here, there's the different TV stations. Then there's a line input and a game mode, which is the exact same input, but it's just labeled as game. And then it has a separate channel for the DVD player as well. This one, it has all the channels and then just a line input, and there's no separate channel for the VCR. So a couple differences in the operating system or whatever. So, also a couple physical differences. The labels for the buttons are white on this TV, and they're a dark gray color on this TV. The labels are different. And then again, you have two LEDs here, one for timer record and one for record. This one just has a single LED to indicate that the power is on. And then other than that, the button layout's pretty much the same. Also, these buttons are a little bit shinier than these buttons. I don't know. In fact, it looks like, despite these two having the same casing, they used a different plastic for this one than they did for this one. It's a darker color. And feels a little bit different. I don't know. So, anyways, then there's a couple function differences. On this TV, where the open-close button is, that's where the record button is here. Also, the skip buttons on here are the rewind and fast-forward buttons here. And then the stop button here is the stop and eject button here. And then they both have the infrared remote sensor underneath the power button, a little to the side. And that's about it in terms of physical differences. I think I've covered it all. Other than that, they're practically the same inside, other than the DVD and VCR portions. Same picture tube. They're Orion picture tubes with implosion protection, which is interesting to see. And that's about it, really. A couple other notes. This TV does actually work. I plugged it in, it powered right on. However, the VCR does not work. For one thing, you can see it's kind of hard for me to open the door. There's a lot of resistance on the tape door. A lot more than on any other VCR I've seen. And I'm not sure if that's normal, if that's a defect. I don't know, but I put a tape in, and you can kind of see it's still stuck in there. And it thread the tape perfectly fine. However, I pressed play and it didn't do anything. Then I tried to rewind and fast forward. It showed a tape icon on the screen, but it still didn't do anything. And then I tried to eject the tape and it wouldn't come out. And sometimes the TV will just shut off, probably because it realizes the VCR is not working properly. Or maybe it's a power supply problem. I don't know. There was a bit of a scare when I first brought this home. I plugged it in and it wouldn't power on. But then I realized the same thing had happened when I plugged this in. For a while it wouldn't power on, and then it powered on perfectly. So my guess is it just takes a while for it to like warm up before you can actually power it on, or probably has something to do with capacitors or something. But after that it powered on perfectly fine. So I think it just needed some time to be plugged in and have some power going to it before I could power it on. I did take this unit apart. You can see the screws are still out of it. And I discharged the tube. I think these newer TVs have shock protection on the picture tube, because as you may know, these picture tubes can carry a very high voltage. And it definitely isn't fun to get shocked by it. But I think these have shock protection because I accidentally shocked myself off of this, and it really wasn't that bad. Might be because these are smaller TVs and because they're newer, so they use less electricity. And maybe because there's some sort of protection in there, like some resistors or something, to discharge the tube faster or make the voltage lower when it's shut off. I don't know. Both of these tubes also have implosion protection, which is good. But yeah, I took this apart, and after I discharged it, I guess the tube built up a little bit of charge because I accidentally touched the anode when I was doing something and I got shocked again. And it's probably going to be a while before I do any more work on this TV. I've already suffered enough. I cut myself when I was taking off the VCR shielding, and then, like I already said, I could shock myself. In fact, there's still some blood right here from when I shocked myself, or from when I cut my hand or cut my finger. There was actually a lot of blood coming out. I went through a couple of paper towels before the bleeding stopped. But so yeah, I'm guessing it's a problem with the mechanism that I'm gonna have to fix. The only problem is it's very hard to get to the VCR mechanism. First you have to take out the picture tube, like discharge it, disconnect all the wires going to the tube, and disconnect the neck board, and then you have to unscrew it and take it out, and hope that you don't drop it or mishandle it in the process, because as you know, these picture tubes, even the implosion protected ones, tend to be very fragile, especially the neck area. And luckily I didn't break the tube, and that could have been very bad. Might have ended up with me dead. Because when these things implode, the air rushes in and the glass comes in and then goes out the other direction and shoots everywhere. It's more of an explosion than an implosion, if you ask me. So you have to take out the picture tube, and then you have to take the whole mechanism out of it just to access it. So I'm probably going to have to do that eventually. I do have one friend who knows how to fix these very well, so I'm going to have to go to him for some assistance. So yeah, right now it's back together and it still works in one piece, surprisingly. I'm surprised I didn't break it. And then, yeah, here's the remote for it. Takes AAA batteries for some reason, even though it could... just dropped it. Even though it could probably take AA's, it uses AAA's. Don't know why, though. And, it's nice to get the remote with it. I don't know if it works yet, because I haven't put any batteries in it yet, because I don't really have any AAA's right now. So yeah, those are my two twin TVs, both of which I found being thrown out. This one I found a few months ago. It had been sitting out for a couple weeks when I brought it home. And then this one I just found yesterday and brought home. Same neighborhood, a few houses apart. It's kind of interesting. So that's all for today. I'll probably post some updates whenever I could get this thing fixed. It'd be great if I could, even though these VCRs are usually pretty crappy. It'd still be nice to have working, and that would definitely bring up the value of it once I sell it. I actually have a couple TVs I'll be selling. This TV here, it's a 1984 Hitachi color knob-tuned TV. I'll definitely be keeping it for the time being. It's my only knob-tuned TV I have. In the future, if I get other TVs, that might change, but I don't know. And this is the 1992 Toshiba with just an RF input that I featured in a previous video. Since the glass is scratched up on the front, and it only has the RF inputs, I don't think I'll be able to sell it. At least not for very much. And then these two TVs I'll probably be able to sell, because this one has a built-in DVD player, and this one has a built-in VCR, and they're fairly modern. This one's from 2004, and this one's from 2003. So I might be able to sell them. I don't know. But that's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video on this interesting find to correspond with my other interesting find from a while back. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching, and take care.